So here's the update. The last time I worked on this machine and uploaded a video was quite some time ago, and then I ended up stopped working. I lost my initiative to continue working on the machine, and now that I've been working and spring is here and the weather's gotten nicer, I've been able to get back working on the machine, and it's actually next to done. Right now I just finished washing. Okay, well, let's go through the machine. So I finished the machine, and all that's left to do is labeling. I don't remember what was the last video. So, and I just washed this. So I'm in the process of just washing everything for final assembly. I installed the new switch. I decided to install it there. And I routed the cables like that. Right? It goes around there. I had to build this bracket for that. I had to readjust the tensioner for the motor because I bought brand new belts and they're a lot shorter, so I had to re-drill new holes, and I had to mount the belt pretty loose so that the motor can overcome the force of friction. So the looseness in the belt gives it some time to build momentum. I cut all the guards, so here's one guard here, and I made a guard here. What else did I do to the machine? So here are the new belts. Okay, I just put this one back in. I'm waiting for the tray to dry. I'll put the tray, then I'll install this. So here's the rear guard here. So I washed it, so I'm going to label it. This here is the front guard. So that goes where the tray is. This here is the guard right beside the motor. This here is the guard that goes right there, right here where the chain is. And this here is the guard that goes on top. So you see I have it bent. So now you can see the rollers and everything, and I reckon keep fingers away from rollers, danger. So I'm practically done. I'm hoping tonight I can finish the lettering and this clean assembly, and tomorrow I can probably knead some dough and run it through the machine. The grocery store owner, I spoke to him a day or two ago, and they're very they practically say yes to buying it, but I'm still going to finish it, make a video and post it on Kijiji and Marketplace, and find another site that sells commercial specific power equipment for like restaurants and whatnot, and I'm going to see if I can get a good price for it. I'm hoping to get $5,000. I'm hoping to get $5,000 for this machine. And I'm waiting, and I'll show the person who gave it to me. I'm going to show him it, see if he has any interest in it, and the other person who owns the Greco Pizza in Caracat, to see if he has any interest in it. We'll see who will buy it from me. If anybody locally buys it from me, the first maintenance will be free on me. I'll change your chains, and I will, well, just to change the chains and do an inspection, I'm pretty sure. And a 6-month guarantee. So I guarantee for sure 6 months this machine will work flawlessly. And if it doesn't perform, I'll either repair it or reimburse. But considering it's been doing its job for 30 years and then retired for 10, and the main reason why it was retired was because of these, I'm very confident that nothing will happen to the machine. And my only concern is the motor. This machine was originally running on an 11 amp motor, not a 10, an 11 amp motor, because the motor that was here was an 11 amp. And this is a 7 amp motor. And I have a feeling that they went to such a big motor because it took a lot of force to break the force of friction to kick on the machine. And for me to overcome that, I leave the belt very loose in order for the motor to build momentum in order to kick on the machine. Because when I take off most of the tension from the belt, the motor cannot kick on the machine. But if you give it a kickstart, come here and turn the pulley, the motor will kick on. It'll build up momentum, and it has more than enough power to run the machine once it breaks the force of friction. And having said that, now it's running on a 7 amp motor. That's 4 amps less than the original motor, meaning that for every hour of runtime, you're saving 480 watts. So let's say half a kilowatt, roughly. So you're saving half a kilowatt of power per hour running this machine with all the modifications that I've done to it. If this motor is able to run it because I opened up the bearings so that the bearings are fitting in properly and they're not compressed, so now they move freely, there's no more friction there, and I think that's pretty much it, just the bearings. So that's why I'm able. And I also put a smaller pulley here. The original was, I think, this is 1.25 inches, I think, or inch and 3/4, or maybe 2 inches. And the original was a lot bigger than that. I think 2.5 inches. Actually, it was about the size of that one there, a small pulley. And this motor is running the machine flawlessly. When I remove the scrapers from the rollers, this motor kicks on immediately. So all the friction now is just from the scrapers to scrape the dough off the rollers. So like I showed you on the panel that goes right here, I'm going to be in the process of labeling, and I might make a plaque here. I'm not certain. I purchased letter punches, but I purchased 2 sets of letter punches here, so I might make a plaque. I'm not certain, not completely decided. What a journey that was, though. What a journey. I'm glad that I was able to finish it. I'm telling you, I was very, very busy with work. When the spring came in, people just kept calling me to rake this and rake that and trim this and trim that and clean this and clean that. And I really didn't have time to work on it, And the guy at the pizza shop there, he just purchased a wood-fired pizza oven, and he's been asking me to supply him with the firewood to run the oven. So I'm also in the process of cutting down birch trees here. I have them drying inside here. I was actually using this to start seeds in the wintertime so that I could plant them in the spring, and it actually worked great. So I'm just using it to store the firewood for now. do some experimentation, but I'm in the process of cutting them 12 inches long and not very large diameter. So actually a lot of those are too big. So we'll see. I reckon that he'll be, if his pizza business, well, it should be successful, because he's making that pizza business because there really isn't anybody selling good pizza in Caracat at all ever since I've been here. So I'm pretty sure it'll make money. So if it does, it means that he will be burning at least 1 cord of wood a week. So I'll have to supply him 4 cords of wood a month. That's a lot of wood. 48 cords of wood a year. Huh. I don't know where I'm gonna get all that wood. So, and my property, the immediate vicinity of my property, is predominantly birch trees, fortunately for him, because that's the quality of wood that you really want to burn in these ovens, because it's hardwood. So, and my method of harvesting is just picking just the perfect size. So these ones here, I don't gotta touch them, and I only cut down a certain size of tree, and the rest around it I leave them alone. And the size of tree that I'm cutting is manageable for me, so I don't need heavy equipment to make trails and to destroy the flora and fauna that's immediately around that tree that I'm harvesting in order to harvest that tree. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. But yeah, this is an update for the LM Pizza dough sheeter, and hopefully my next video will be one of its demonstration, a demonstration video of its function. Hopefully it will function flawlessly. My only concern of its functioning is that I might need to just shave off a little bit on the edges of the scraper so that the dough does not catch in between the roller and the scraper, and so that the scraper just scrapes the dough off the roller. That's my only concern at that point. So it'll be a little bit of tweaking, but other than that, maybe I shouldn't leave that guard on there then. We'll see how it runs. I'm confident that it'll be okay. Oh, this one, the upper one is actually making good contact. We'll see. I don't think this one, because I could feel it with my fingers, and there's a small gap in between the rollers, and the dough can get caught there and pulled in. The problem is that the reason why I'm afraid of touching that is because when I pulled this apart, these scrapers were so feathered that it curled away from the roller, you know. I'm excited. And when I first started this project, I was contemplating, well, I had made the assumption that this was a stainless steel chain on the unit because this is a food processing unit. So I thought they would go with stainless steel for everything, but it's not stainless steel. And because I assumed it was going to be stainless steel, I was going to buy stainless steel chain and use beeswax instead of a harsh industrial grease to lubricate the chain, but I didn't end up doing it. However, that beeswax that I bought, I actually used it on the chain on my bicycle, and ever since I've used it, it's been working very, very well, very flawlessly. I don't hear rattling, and it's not dirty or greasy and grimy. So that's built my confidence using wax instead of grease. So if I were to build another machine like this again, I might go that route with beeswax instead of industrial grease chains, just to keep it more food safe. And that's it. And here's another little modification I had to do because of the belt here. I had to put an extra spacer underneath the gearbox in order to give this belt a relieve tension of this belt. It's still quite tense, but it's a lot better than what it was. So, and since I bought the new belt and changed it, the motor kicks on easier because this belt does not have any memory of sitting in this position for 10 years. So yeah, I'm excited. Very close to putting it for sale, and I hope it sells. And unfortunately, the Canadian economy right now is not very good, so my plan to use this machine to make a workshop might not come into fruition, because every time I go to the grocery store, if I want to make an honest grocery, let's say if I want to eat well for one day, I would have to spend at least, and this is just for me, just to eat 3 square meals a day, let's say a little bit above average meals, I would have to spend easily $200, and I would be walking out of the grocery store with a little bit more than a bag of groceries. So for me to sell this for $5,000, that money, that's not really going very far, you know. $5,000 right now is not a lot of money, and for what this machine does, it's worth it, because you imagine how much they'll be selling each pizza for. So I'm not trying to scam anybody. I just don't want to, I'm not giving this away to anybody. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and the amount just in time alone I've spent on this machine is worth more than $5,000 I'm asking for. And that's not including all the parts and materials that I had to purchase for this machine, you know. Like the recent purchase with the belts came out to $40, $47, you know. So, and that's just a recent purchase, you know, buying the paint, the chain, buying the shoulder bolts, the thrust bearings, the brass bushings. What else did I have to buy? You know, all these things cost money, man. The bearings, the oil, the gaskets, the nuts and the bolts. So, you know, the pulley, the switch. The switch alone cost about $40, maybe $50, because that switch by itself is $27 on Amazon right now, and the box, I don't remember how much I paid for it. And then the conduit, the things for the cable to pass through, those conduit things, I had to buy those separate. You know, all these things add up, you know, and I reckon it's about $800, $900 around there. So for me to put $5,000 price tag on this, in terms of the amount of hours I spent on it alone, and including the parts and materials, I'm not really making back all that money. However, it's still money in my pocket, and you know, the experience. So I'm hoping to sell it to the original owner. I'm hoping he has another one that he needs fixing. Maybe he'll hire me to fix it, I don't know. So that's it.